Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Anu and I make videos about studying and working in the UK. So if any of that interests you, make sure you subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. So I have traveled a lot across the UK when I was doing my master's degree. I have been to, of course, London, then I've been to Cardiff, Leicester, Bristol, Torquay, Plymouth, Cornwall. So yeah, I've been to quite a lot of places while I was also a student. And how did I do that? Because yes, it's quite expensive to travel around the UK, but I think it's very much doable if you plan it well. And in this video, I'm kind of going to give you some tips on what you can do to travel really cheap within the UK. So the other day I sat down to think of what exactly I did as a student when I was traveling, and I just sat down and made some notes on my computer. So at any point if I'm looking somewhere there, it's because I'm looking at the notes that I made, just letting you know. A disclaimer. The first thing is you have to have a realistic travel goal. Like, remember, you are a student and it's not easy traveling around as a student because of financial constraints and also because you might be busy with your course. So when you plan your travels, you have to be realistic. So I've always done day trips. I think very occasionally I've spent one night in the place where I've been to, but most of my travels have been day trips. And I would plan about one trip every month. So I would not go to places every weekend because obviously it's financially not possible. I don't have the time as a student. So I think if you are able to do one trip every month, that's good. Another point about having realistic travel goals is that if you're studying in the UK, I would recommend as a student, it's best if you explore places within the UK. There is so much to see in the UK. You'll be surprised, there's so much. There are amazing places around here. When I was studying, I met a lot of people who were interested to go to other European countries. They wanted to go to Spain, France, Greece, wherever. And unfortunately, you need to apply for a Schengen visa for that. I have been to some of these countries later when I was working. I know what a hassle it is to apply for a Schengen visa. And as a student, I do not think it's worth it. If you're here to do a master's course, which is only for 1 year, I think the best option is to plan trips around the UK. Later, when you've completed your course, you have more money, you have more time, you can then go to other places in Europe. That's what I've done. So that's tip number one, be realistic. Tip number two is plan your trip in advance. The earlier you plan a trip, the cheaper it is to get tickets. And when I say tickets, I mean tickets for trains or coaches. Also, there are some student-friendly apps such as Unidays or Student Beans where you can get discounts on coach tickets or train tickets. I have made a separate video on Student Beans and Unidays some time ago, so I'll put a link somewhere on the top as well as in the description box. You can go and check that out. I think these apps are very helpful, especially if you're a student and you want to save money. You get really good deals there. So I would recommend using these apps to get discount on your coach tickets. If you're traveling by National Express, you get 15% discount as students, sometimes more if they have like some kind of a promotion going on, but generally it is 15% discount, which is quite nice. If you're planning to travel on train, which is what I used to do mostly, I recommend getting a rail card. Rail card is very helpful if you know for sure that you are going to travel by train because you get really good discounts. The one-time price you pay for rail card is really nothing compared to the amount of discounts you get, provided that you travel by train frequently. And if you are planning to travel somewhere once every month by train, I would say it is worth getting a rail card. And the general price for getting a rail card, which is valid for 1 year, is £35. But if you buy using trip.com, and this is not an ad, I've not been paid to say this, but I use trip.com and I get the rail cards for £30. So I get a £5 discount, which is very nice. So you could do that. You could go and get your rail card from trip.com and it would save you £5. And yeah, the sooner you plan, the sooner you buy your tickets and buy your tickets using the applications I just mentioned, you would be able to save a lot of money. Another thing I want to mention about booking in advance is that if you know what attractions you want to see in a particular place, it's best if you buy the tickets to that attraction in advance. If you buy the tickets online from the website in advance, you usually get some percentage of discount, which is not major discount, probably maybe 5% discount, but it's still something. It still helps you save some money, because if you go and buy tickets from that place on the day, it's going to be slightly more expensive than buying it online the previous day or even before that. So I would always recommend buying tickets online in advance, not on the same day. Tip number 3 is have a budget and stick to it. It can get really difficult sticking to a budget for some people like me. I think it's very important that you have a specific budget for your trip and make sure whatever you do not go over your budget. What your budget is would depend on you, really. When I used to travel, I used to keep £100 budget for my day trip. If I stayed in a place overnight, so I would be there for 2 days, so my budget would be £200. That's how I would do it. I'm talking of the time when I was a student, which was back in 2022, 2023. The prices back then is not what it is now. It's a lot more expensive now. Back then, £100 per day would be okay with me. And when I say £100 per day, that includes everything. That includes train tickets, bus tickets if I want to get a bus locally around the city where I'm going to, tickets to attractions, food. So basically everything covered in £100, which I think now currently in 2026 would be slightly difficult because things are a little bit more expensive than they were back in 2023. You could set a budget based on what you think is comfortable, maybe £150 a day or £180 a day, maybe £200 a day, whatever you are comfortable with, but make sure you stick to that. That was tip number 3, stick to your budget. Tip number 4 is travel smart. Some attractions might have discounts or the tickets might be free on certain days. So that's something you would need to do research on. You need to before you go to a place, you need to have a little bit of idea of what places, what attractions you want to see, and maybe read more about it. Find out if there are specific dates when these attractions are free or they give discounts to students, because there are places like that. So that's another tip to help you save money. Something else I can think of is some universities, I'm saying this from my experience, I'm not sure if every university does this, but I can assume that most of them would do. So my university had an international students body where they would organize events for international students, and as part of that you would be able to go to places for really cheap. For example, they had organized a trip to the Warner Brothers studio in London from Exeter, and this included transportation as well as the tickets, and all I had to pay was £25. If you go there by yourself, the ticket alone costs, I think, £55 or £60, nearly in that price range. So it's amazing how I was able to just pay £25 and travel there from Exeter and also see the place. I'm sure a lot of universities would organize trips like these, and I think that's also a really nice way to explore places on a student-friendly budget. And the last and final, the fifth tip I would give is that you need to do your own research and find out what places you want to see. One thing as a student you have to accept, which I had to accept sadly, is that I could not see all the places I wanted to see. So you need to decide, do your research, decide what places are your most favorite, the places you really want to go to. And even in those places, if you are on a strict budget, maybe you would not have the money to see all the attractions, but that's okay because you are a student, you're working hard, you're doing a lot. So it's just something I had to accept. You have to accept. Well, what I did was I would do a little bit of research about the place I'm about to visit and make note of all the attractions there. And from all these attractions that have, some of them would have really expensive entry fee. And of course, I would not be able to afford to pay the entry fee for all these places. So I would pick my top 2 places that I want to see. And I would go only to those places. And the other places that I would visit would be free, if that makes sense. So basically, I would go to 2 paid attractions and multiple free attractions during my day trip. I couldn't afford going to like all the attractions that are paid. It's quite expensive. So if you are able to, great, but if you're not able to, it's not the end of the world. At least you had the chance to go and explore a new place, which itself is amazing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to discuss in this video. It's really, really an amazing opportunity to be able to go and explore places. And if you are interested in traveling, I would always encourage, go travel. I have learned so much from traveling. Some of my trips were solo, some of my trips were with my friends, and all of the trips have been very memorable and they have shaped me to be who I am. As cliche as that sounds, it is true. I really hope this video helps you in planning your trip as a student. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.